back-to-back wins, back-to-back back-to-back clean sheets for the first time in the Premier League. It took us a while. We've finally done it. Again, it wasn't pretty, but we managed to get the job done. Leicester 2-1. I don't know why I said 2. Leeds 0. We've got Akash. I got Akash and Alex with us. Both of them not been here for a while. We've got loads to talk about. I think, Alex. First of all, what are you thinking initially of your match thoughts?
It wasn't the prettiest of victories, but 3 points is 3 points. So I can't really complain about anything. We got a clean sheet. Overall, you can focus if you want to focus on the negatives, you can. But at the end of the day, like I said, 3 points is 3 points. Massive, especially with how that bottom of the table is looking out. Getting those points are so important, and these types of performances, even if they aren't that nice, you get those points, you move a little bit further up the table, and you get a little bit more relative calmness. So I feel good.
Yeah, considering this time last week where we were looking in a very, very different position and things could have looked a lot worse. And considering the 2 wins, again, it's been fantastic for us just in terms of keeping us safe in that middle of the table. Akash, again, great for you to join. What are your initial thoughts as well? Because again, 2 clean sheets, 2 wins. Are we dreaming?
Looks fantastic at the moment. The worst thing you can do in a side that has a new manager in appointment is hand 3 easy points. I am glad we didn't. We fought till the end, though there was some ebbs and flows throughout the game. I am really impressed that we held on to that clean sheet.
Exactly. And that's the thing. We got the points. We've said before when we looked at the Wolves game, I think this was actually a worse performance than the Wolves game. However, we actually got the points, and that's all that matters in football, especially when we're slipping down that table. We'll look at the table in just a little bit of difference. But this is the thing, Alex. When we first started looking at that match, we went, who's playing what position? Because nobody had any idea what formation. There was 3 at the back, 2 at the 4 at the back. We had no idea. And then we're seeing, obviously, then it looked like a 4-3-3 with KDH, Ndidi and Tillemans, which kind of expected. But Hamza Chowdhury at right back. And to be fair, considering that's his first Premier League game, I think, at right back, I think he did pretty well.
Yeah, well, to start things off, when the lineup was released, it was 6:30 in the morning here. So when I looked at it, I had no idea what was going on. And I also looked at it being like, am I dreaming? Because this doesn't make any sense. And then I finally was, drinking some coffee, kind of waking up, and I still looked at it and I was like, this still doesn't make sense. But, Chowdhury playing at right back, he did great because, like you said, I don't think he's ever actually played in that position. And being kind of slotted into a position that you've never played before and being like, good luck with this. I think he did quite well. Yeah, the lineup was a little weird. Formation kind of, I couldn't even figure it out for the first few minutes of the match. But overall, in a time where you're dealing with injuries, you just kind of have to, Frankenstein your lineup and still managed to do it, and like I said, wasn't the prettiest, but getting that win is all you need to do.
Yeah, exactly. We got the win again with the new manager bounce. I think it was the new manager bounce. Again, it could have ended a lot worse. I was thinking in the way that it was very similar to the way that we went against Liverpool when we sacked Ranieri and what he achieved with us and what he achieved and things like that. And then we went and beat Liverpool. So I was thinking maybe it couldn't come true. But again, Akash, in terms of that, the way we went about performing, in the first half, I think was pretty good overall. And the way we went about playing football, because it was a strong team considering Leeds are a very dominant team. And we did step up to the plate. I think we played that first half. I think there was moments where I was like, right, we are playing some good football. We're in a good position. And yeah, we got to half time 0-0, but I was feeling confident and happy. And I've not felt that for Leicester City for quite a while.
I think for the first half, both the teams had plenty of chances. They were all out attack, high intensity game, and that is to be expected of whether it was Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds or Jesse Marsh. That intensity is still there, and we were like, I was seeing the game, and I was really surprised that at halftime, neither side deserved to be scored less. And despite the defenders not doing best of their job, I think the very first chance that was prevalent in that was Pascal Struijk just pulling off Vardy in that run. I think that could have transpired into a beautiful chance in the 9th minute early chance. I was really bummed out because I thought Vardy is more than capable of doing that. And yeah, Vardy and Harvey Barnes were attacking throughout the first half, but they were struggling defensively a bit. Defenders all over the place because you put Hamza Chaudhary in one place, so the back line is not that well gelled. But despite that, they held on well. And Patrick Bamford not coming in this match, I think that gives us a bit of an edge because he's one of the prolific goal scorer from last season and he can do it. But the injuries did help, and I think overall Madison not playing for us did help them as well. So it's pretty even.
Yeah, it was pretty even, I think, for the majority of the game. I think you're right, and considering the performances we've seen against lower opposition, again, Leeds are a lower opposition this season. We haven't hit them levels, and we haven't got the points, and we've let them dominate us at times. You're looking at Crystal Palace, Burnley, or Burnley at home, for example. We have managed to do that, but I think David puts in a comment as well. Alex, I'll give that over to you. But nice as real, but we made them look better than we were, which I kind of agree. But to the point, Leeds swamped us, and they did look decent today, but especially at the back, I have to disagree in terms of like there's other players that looked decent. I mean, Suyunchu today, I've got to give him credit. He looked decent, considering that we've slated him a lot. And Daniel Amati, I think in the last couple of games, he's really stepped up and become that right. I'm going to take hold of this back line and I'm going to command them where I need to go, which we've not seen from him. So that centre-back duo, I know it's not the best and it's not first choice if everybody's fit, but I think they held their own today.
Yeah, and just to backtrack a bit, I think we definitely allowed Leeds to look better than they actually are, and especially if you've looked at them this season, they have been lackluster to say the least. So the fact that we kind of gave them a relatively an upper edge in the sense of how they performed, and they probably look better like performance wise than they actually were. But at the end of the day, you have to give credit to both Marty and Suyuncu. Like you said, they're not the top choice center back pairing. But I think Suyuncu today, and he's played a few games that he's actually been relatively, he's looked relatively sound at the back. And then Daniel Marty, he's been one of those players that you didn't really expect to really, being given this opportunity this season. And sure, he's had some hiccups. He's like I said, like you said, he's not a first choice center back option. But he's been able to do his job when it's needed to be done. Sure, he's had times where he's absolutely failed miserably. But when you look at a match today, like that's all you can ask for him with him. And let's be serious here: both Suyuncu and Amarty are 100,000 times better of an option than Yannick Vestergaard.
I mean, it shows you today that even considering, again, he was going to take off some play, he was going to play Daniel Amati and Suyuncu. He brought in Lewis Brunt for the under 23s, who's been really good. But considering that he's going to start ahead of Vestergaard, which I'm quite thankful for. There's certain players that have fallen out of favour. I think Vestergaard's one of them. Perez is another one that's kind of been forgotten about. You're thinking about with Daniel, with Madison out of the team, you got that. But Akash, over to you again. Just we'll come back to the same point, but actually we'll go on with another point. So, in terms of defensively, really, I think Glenn puts it there well. I think the back four in general kind of did work well as a unit. Again, it's not perfect, it's not great football. However, we are getting progress, and that's a lot more than we've seen in the last, again, considering the Burnley match, but before that, there have been massive gaps. They're kind of starting to secure it up a little bit more, considering there's still people coming in and out for injury.
I do feel we are improving, though we are not very flashy at doing it because we have survived for so long that even a little bit of good performances like this demands like a lot of praise from the fan base, and we have been suffering on that end. So it's really nice to see the defensive unit work, and things can only go better because Fofana is going to ultimately return. Justin, after just coming back, is again cut short and spending 3 to 4 weeks again in isolation, and it's just harsh. It just keeps happening and happening. And today also, when one of the times Sonchu stretched a bit to stop a shot, I felt that another injury possibly. Thank God it didn't happen, but it has been happening. And with the makeshifts and everything that we have got, Ahmad and Sonchu are the best option we have, and they are doing the best job at the moment. So can't complain. And Vestergaard, I mean, I don't think Vestergaard deserves any chance in any game because whenever that happens, you simply lose out the control of the game and instantly the game changes. So there is something wrong with him being into that back line. whether it's his direct fault or whether it's his luck, I don't
Mm.
know, but I just feel that something is very, very wrong in terms of Yannick Vestergaard.
Well, the thing is, again, we could say that I think we've got the whole season and we've got, again, 2 more years potential. We'll see if he leaves in the summer. But I think what he's done and some of the players that are coming through, he might be replaced. However, what I like at the moment, again, coming back to that and kind of one thing I put, he's got the, what was brilliant about the two in the back line, especially the back two, was there was leadership and there was more ownership. Right, I'm going to take this ball, I'm going to head it out. And the amount of times I've not seen that this season and just going, right, this is my ball, or let me put a body on the line to make sure this ball's not going in the back of the net. And again, there was more desire and more, right, I actually want to defend, which was lacking a lot beforehand. And then coming into kind of coming into the performances where we got obviously going forward. So the defense, I think Luke Thomas had a decent enough game. One thing I was talking, I think, with Ant on the last one is that he's only 20. It's kind of to his detriment. He plays so good for a 20-year-old, Alex, that you forget when he has a bit of a bad performance or he gets thrown around a little bit that the dude's only 20 years old. He's only going to get better in time. And he held his own today. And that's probably one of the best compliments I can say, that he didn't do anything wrong. But for his age and considering, remember with Chilwell, we'd like, give him time, give him time. And in that same position with somebody that's younger, we're seeing him thrive on another level in Luke Thomas.
Yeah, that's the one thing that always confuses me with some supporters is that people will chew out Thomas and be like, "Oh yeah, he screwed up here," and you're like, "Dude, he's only 20." Like, that's I think one of the wild things about Thomas is that his age, what he's accomplished already, so in his short career so far is just absolutely astounding. So when he does have like a mishap or a hiccup, most of the time when I see him, I'm like, he's 20. That's gonna happen over time, and he's gonna develop those skills. But I think he did well today. He did everything right. He did nothing wrong. And I think, at that age and being given the responsibility that he's been given due to the amount of injuries that we've had, and basically Rogers has been like, "Hey, you're our main guy when we need him." Because like with Justin out, with Ricardo out, with Bertrand being non-existent, all of a sudden, Thomas is your main choice. And virtually, with that being said, it's like imagine, it's like being. I couldn't imagine being 20 years old and being like, "Hey, you're going to be the starting, left back for the Premier League side here."
Game in,
I'd be
game
like,
out.
Game in, game out. I'd be like, "No, thank you." So just being able to hone in that, that mentality and that drive and that determination at such a young age, and being able to compose that all together, is definitely shows the character in that. And I definitely think that that's only going to improve more and more. And like I said, he's only 20. Give him a year. Give him 2 years. When he's 22.
And let's not forget he just contained Mohamed Salah in one game
Yeah,
beautifully.
exactly. Well, like you can go back to even that game. You can go back to the FA Cup final. Like he's done absolutely incredible jobs throughout his career already, and he's only 20. So it's only going to go up from here.
Yeah, I think the future is bright with him, and considering there's going to be obviously, I think he's ahead of. In terms of Ryan Bertrand when he comes back, I don't think he's going to get a sniff. If you think about James Justin, yeah, do you see what I mean? It's easily ahead of him, considering his contract's expiring in 2023 as well. 2023, so next year as well. Then coming on to obviously coming forward in that position, Harvey Barnes, Akash, great performance for him as well, and there was signs that he was in and out of the games at time, but when he was in the game and when he was on, we saw that good old Harvey Barnes back. That was like, right, this guy wants to take on a player, get past him, and was winning quite a lot.
His whole methodology and practices is that he will take on that player. Sometimes he will succeed and sometimes he will not, but definitely most times he will get a shot in goal, and that is what we are relying on, because Vardy and Harvey Barnes were the only two players in that provided an attacking threat today. And despite withdrawing Vardy, maybe due to fatigue or anything, change of the game plan, he kept on Harvey Barnes, and Rogers was still expecting of him. Kelechi Iheanacho, again a player whose contribution cannot be forgotten today. The quick pass, the quick wit definitely did help, and you have to trust. Harvey Barnes. I think most of the times in the previous seasons when he used to carry the ball and cut in from the box and then try a shot that has been intercepted by many defenders this season. But losing the ball for even a split second diverts the attention towards the second attacker, and Clichy Iheanacho just brought the attention towards him and then released Harvey Barnes, which was brilliant because again he finished. He just nutmeg the goalkeeper, so that was a beautiful side because Mestier isn't a soft goalkeeper by any means. So that was brilliant from Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, and I think again he came in and out of games, but again he was his moment against run of play won us the game, and that's what mattered. But Alex as well, what was great is I seeing that kind of bringing it back to Harvey Barnes, Luke Thomas, Vardy, KDH, especially in that first half, they were linking up really, really well down that left hand side. I think what's it called? David puts in a comment in terms of where's it gone? I've lost it now. It was one of these ones, especially towards the end. He goes, we did play fluidity. We had nothing down the right, which is true. We'll come on to that in a bit. However, down the left-hand side, we were really fluid, playing some really, really good football. And again, Barnes, Vardy, KDH, and Thomas would all just combining so nicely.
Yeah, you had Thomas. The connection between Thomas and Barnes is one thing, which is really neat to see. And then KDH has really been able to slot himself in there and just really read the entirety of that side, it looks like. And I really feel like that KDH really has that vision throughout the entire pitch, which is incredible to see. But like his you have that link up between Thomas and Barnes, and KDH just kind of slotted himself directly in between the two, which has just made that side even stronger. And then having Vardy back, you can really see, that communication. And I think that's something that we've desperately missed, even though Vardy only played 60 minutes. So 60 minutes were pivotal because he really did, that interaction and that communication that was there, you could see the fluidity of it. And I think, the more that, you're going to see those players in that lineup, and they're just going to develop that communication and that leader, like that trust between each other more and more. And I think that's one of the things that we've been lacking at most of this season is, someone is always out due to injury, or or like the formation has changed, so the lineup has shifted. So we haven't really had that same communication through the players because they haven't played. The chemistry's lacking. But I feel like once players are coming back from injury, I feel like we can really adapt again and having that chemistry reform like we saw today. And I really think that we'll see it improve more and more throughout the remainder of the season.
I'm hoping so, and I think so as well. From what we've seen, again, we've had to ride our luck a little bit at times, but it's what we've needed. And if anything, in terms of like football karma, it's kind of deserved in terms of like when we've lost against Brighton. So it's kind of like it ebbs and flows, as Akash was saying, all over the place. And just one point Akash is to talk about Jamie Vardy again, with him playing up front. I've just put we've missed Vardy up top. Everything going forward goes through him. Everybody knows where he is, and he knows where the other players are, kind of instinctually. Nothing against Patson Daka or even Kelechi Iheanacho. We'll get onto him a little bit later. But Patson Daka, I love Patson Daka, but he's not quite. Again, it's just going to take more time for him to adapt, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to write him off. But with Vardy in the side, we do look like a different team going forward, considering how good we have been going forward as well.
Definitely, nobody. I mean, how will Patson Daka in the coming years will eclipse Vardy and fill his shoes? I don't think it's a one man's job. You have to some way incorporate the 4-4-2 to give Patson Daka some sort of support to carry on the forward line, because whatever Jamie Vardy has been doing in this past few years is simply defined science. His age should in his age he shouldn't be able to do the kind of thing. In the last game, he scored the winner. How does he do that? I mean, I'm still flabbergasted, and it's beautiful in a way, but still it's worrying because in some years we are not going to see him flourish this much, and he will eventually leave. And what then? What should we do? Because he's one of the best. I mean, comparisons with Michael Owen tells you that Michael Owen is one of the three most demanding strikers of English football. I think Wayne Rooney comes close, Gary Lineker comes close, and third is he. But comparing him with Vardy is just an accolade in itself. He has defied records. He has broken Van Nistelrooy's record. Everything, and it keeps on building, and he's not slowing down. And that again, I mean, Patson Daka, I mean, Patson Daka is a fantastic striker. Nobody scores 4 goals in a match, but to match up with Vardy, you have to do it day in and day out, and that becomes a real problem because Kelechi Iheanacho has been delivering all right. He has been doing very good, but still nowhere close to Vardy. So what happens? How do you see this? Because I'm just out of ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And just bringing up the table at the moment, this is all of our players' conversion rates and goals and stuff at the moment. So Jamie Vardy's actually, I realized James Maddison's got more. He's got 7 goals and 12 assists, 12
Yeah, look at
goals
the
and 7
game
assists.
differential. Look at the games played. He's played
Number of
12
games
more
played.
than
Yeah,
Vardy.
yeah, I guess so. But then look, if you're comparing the two of them,
Oh yeah, no.
Pasternak's only 25,
Yeah.
and so goals per minute is only like 0.02 more. So it's not here to slate. It's just, again, it's not to do with the statistics. It's more to do with how he plays. And we know, and this is Patson Daka now. In the future, he's going to be an absolute monster if he carries on this way, considering what's happening. I mean, yeah. We'll have to come on to it again. Another player that, again, every time he comes on, and I'm not going to shut up about him, Alex. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, man, just ran. I mean, at times that midfield ball was getting lost. The ability to pop up in just brilliant plays on the left, on the right, kind of plays wherever. Coming forward, playing the ball, he nearly got through Iheanacho if he wasn't offside. He was playing some phenomenal football, and just he doesn't stop putting in 7+ out of 10 every single week. And I can't sing high enough of him, of how good he was today.
KDH is a player for the future. I really do think he's going to be, a part of the England squad, down the line. And just the way he plays, the way that his vision of the entire pitch is just something that I really feel like I haven't seen in a while from a player at Leicester. It's really, truly amazing just to see where he just kind of came out of nowhere. He's been on loan, it seems like, and then he just kind of jumps in and, he's just taken, he's taken this opportunity that Rodgers has given him, and he's just ran with it. And, I was having a discussion, actually, it was with Glenn and Hannah prior to the end of the match. And Glenn said, if Maddison was fully fit, which player would you choose to take out of the side? Between, when you think about it, you got Maddison, you got KDH, you got Yuri, and you got Ndidi. Yuri, for me, would be the player that would not be in the starting 11 because KDH is undroppable. Maddison has been absolutely fantastic this season, and I love Yuri, but his performances have absolutely lacked. KDH has overtaken him in my eyes, and the changing of the guard has really begun. And I don't think this is Yuri. This is not Yuri's midfield anymore. Dewsbury Hall now owns that midfield, and the only way he's going to have that taken away from him is that if he severely screws up or Yuri decides to wake up. Like, that's how big of a change and how big of an impact KDH has made this season. We are no longer talking about this as Tillman and Ndidi's midfield. We're talking about this as an Ndidi, KDH, Maddison midfield. That's how big of a statement he's made this year.
Totally agree.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
Go for it, Akash.
I just wrote an article, Leicester City's starting 11 at the present, what is the best available option. So I exactly put Maddison, KDH and NDD and skipped Tielemans because at the present I think KDH's versatility and consistency is much better than Yuri Tielemans provides in each match, and I got slandered for it. So thank you for saying that.
I think I was just going to say, I feel like it's such a touchy situation because so many people love Yuri. But at the end of the day, he brought us the FA Cup and whatnot. But when you have to look at form. You have to look at form. You have to look at the fact that you can clearly see that Yuri's head's been turned, and he just isn't the same player that he was at the start of the season. And when it comes to, you look at the table, you look at form, you look at everything all together, you cannot say that KDH has played worse off than Yuri. Yuri has, and this is going to probably tick off a lot of people, and I'm expecting it. KDH has been one of our worst midfielders this season. Yuri has been one of our worst midfielders this season. And that is shocking because at the end of last season we were like this player is
£100 million
amazing.
player.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden we're saying bench. Like it's night and day, and it's kind of weird to actually think. And I know there's a lot of people that are saying, "Well, you can't drop Tielemans." Like, well, you know, if we've done it before, like we've done it to players in the past. Madison, when he was off, when he was absolutely dreadful, he wasn't starting some matches, and it's just, you have to earn it. KDH has earned it. Yuri hasn't. Simple facts.
And credit to Brendan Rodgers as well for recognizing that. In the past, he's gone, right, I'm taking this player off, I'm putting this player on. What I found this time is that, for example, the last 2 matches, he decided to take off Yuri, and this match he decided to take off Ndidi. So it shows you he's kept KDH on for both of their matches. So even the manager is taking notice. The fans have obviously taken notice. And sometimes we've known that Brendan Rodgers is stubborn. However, I think credit needs to be given to him for letting him go in and playing his football, because if you're dragging him at 60 minutes, it can change the dynamic of the game massively. And he is running that midfield, which is definite. So well, we'll go on to another bit as well. In terms of on the right again, Iheanacho, when he came on, I think he needed a good. Considering he's not a striker on his own, obviously setting up the assist was fantastic. But overall, Akash, I think Iheanacho, and we see him losing the ball in situations, but overall, I think he had a good, when he came on, a cameo performance, considering he's replacing Jamie Vardy as a lone striker. I think he did really well, Iheanacho.
He did the most to earn us that goal, as I said previously. Without his assist, even a fraction, if he was late, it would have been very disastrous for us, and it could have ended in a draw, which is we don't look to draws, right? We look at wins or losses. So Kelechi Iheanacho, I think even Mendy deserves a shout for being in that team, and I think even Jose Perez hasn't done all that much to being excluded from this, because we are not existing in any competitions anymore. So when are these kind of players going to get chances? I see that when you have Vardy fit, it's very difficult to fit even Patson Daka or Kelechi Iheanacho. You can consider them as first substitutions, but no way they are getting in front when Vardy is fit and still has a few years in his tank. So that is a given, but you have to utilize a player like Kelechi Iheanacho when it's not working, and I think Brendan Rodgers did it to perfection today. And that was one of his best moves considering the lineup that he put today, because otherwise it was shocking. I mean, Albrighton is good, don't get me wrong, but doesn't Perez deserve some kind of matches to start in that position?
On the right hand side,
Yeah.
He's really not done anything though. I would genuinely, because his
You
position
have
is
Lookman though. You have Lookman.
Yeah, but I'd play. Look, I think we've realised that Perez probably will go in the summer because he's not even getting any time unless nobody else can want to come in for him. And so I don't know what you think of that, Alex, but playing Perez on the wing just looks lost completely.
Yeah, I would actually slot in Vestergaard on the wing before I actually play Perez, and that's saying something. So it's basically I have the same level of trust that I have for Perez on the wing is the same amount of trust I have for Vestergaard at center back. So saying that,
Brendan Rodgers signings.
Yeah. So when it comes to both of those players, I just let them be where they're at. Like, let's just leave it at that. I think.
And credit for not being stubborn and going, right, I need to play these players. Because if he bought off Daniel Amati and put on Vestergaard, everybody goes, what are you doing? Oh, okay, and then we end up losing the game or something. And he's done it before.
I'd probably have another heart attack. Like I don't know why, but I was actually worried that Brunt was actually just going to casually emerge onto the pitch today and then like rip off his like mask, and he'd grow and it'd be Yannick Vestergaard, and we'd be like, oh god, no, and like that'd be the end of it. Like I literally had fears that would happen, because like that's how bad it's been this season whenever it's happened. So I'm glad that he wasn't even on the pitch or even on the bench.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree. One of the substitutions for me that didn't really make sense. Well, we'll get on to Lookman in a second, but in Diddy for Mendy. I mean, it's great to see Mendy get a cameo performance, but was I the one thinking, Akash, not Samore? I'm really surprised that Samore didn't get any minutes, considering, and then Mendy comes on. Considering Samore was on the bench as well, I went, I'm happy for Mendy that he gets a little bit of football and stuff, but it was a really strange substitution for me.
I'm happy for Mendy as well. I think he's one of my under the radar favorite players in this camp, and he has done so well. He has paid his dues in that AFCON campaign, and he has been a champion, a continental champion. So mm, again, you are comparing two players. Each of them has paid their dues. One is a Ligue 1 champion, one is a continental champion. So very yeah. I mean, NDD, he was suffering with some muscle pull or some issues, minor issue, but he was suffering that throughout the week. But mm, yeah, as you say, I mean, Somare not picking Somare straight away is something that you can frown upon. Somare has been, going down the ranks slowly, and that is a very concerning matter considering that we had so much high expectations of him, and him and NDD playing together. One is a box-to-box midfielder, another was in his holding. Could have done us, wonders, but it's not happening at the moment, and I think this is just a fruition of that.
Yeah. Yeah, again, yeah. So I kind of agree there. And again, I think as Glenn was saying, he was on a yellow, so we need some Mendy loving. That fair enough. And he does. He's no point coming back, winning the AFCON, then not playing him. But again, that position, obviously, and Diddy's come back into form. I think Diddy was great today as well, Alex, as well. He's had not a great season so far. The last couple of performances, I've seen Diddy really step up and not be towards the best, but he's been good and working towards that, if that makes sense. It's a lot better than what it was.
Yeah, he's definitely turned it around. He's not the same Ndidi that we've seen in previous seasons, but he's definitely, managed to, change up his style of play and his level of play, and it's coming out into the more positive light. So I think that's something that you definitely need to look at as a positive, because there were times this season that he looked absolutely lost. So having that that informed Ndidi is something that we desperately need. Especially if he can really develop more chemistry with player KDH, for example. That'd be really great. So that's one thing. But I definitely like the fact that they brought in Mendy. Like, I really absolutely love the fact that they brought in Mendy. He's fresh off of the AFCON win, whatnot. He was taken out of out of the entire squad for the first half of the season. So why not bring him in? Like, when at the start of last season, when we had a bunch of injuries, he came into the lineup and played his heart out, and he did quite well. So that's just something fantastic to watch. So give him the opportunity. Why not? If Sumari's kind of slowly falling out of favor or whatnot, you just allow why not give the reins to Mendy when need to, and I think he played well with the time that he played this game at least.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so as well. Akash, again, one player that I've just looked at when I was like, how have we forgot about him? A man that basically helped us win the game, Kasper Schmeichel. I mean, I completely forgot. I mean, what a performance, especially in the second half. Some phenomenal saves again. And again, we've criticized his distribution, but today I think for the most part, his distribution was really good as well. I mean, I think what he's better at, instead of playing it short, is just going, right, I'm going to hit it upfield and let Jamie Vardy run onto the end of it, or let somebody else run onto the end of it. But yeah, Kasper Schmeichel again kept us in the game for sure.
Have no doubts over his shot stopping abilities. Never had, because he's one of the best shot stoppers in the league, and we are proud to have him as our captain. Distribution, as you say, yeah, it has been iffy in a lot of areas over the past seasons, but today he was good, and I think let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Even a broken clock is right twice a day, so but nothing to take away from him. His father was there, really happy for him, whatever he did, and keeping a clean sheet will only boost his confidence, and we need confidence at this moment. We are in the 10th in the league. We have never been in this season above 8th, which I was talking about the other day, and we can potentially get to 8th because we have played only 25 games. Another one we have in hand, which can really boost our season, and we need those to reflect in our conference league games, because that is going to get a lot tighter in the coming days. So let's just hope.
Let's just hope. And again, a couple of things as well before we finish. Again, back-to-back clean sheets and back-to-back wins. Apart from that, again, I think the Leeds kind of run out of steam after 80 minutes, and then they got the couple of injuries to Dallas, and I forgot the guy with the ponytail, what his name was, and then the kind of performances back down. But overall, Alex,
it's man bun FC. So
it
everybody
really
has
is,
got
isn't it? They got
that.
like half the team's got man buns.
Is that Luke Ayling? Was that Ayling in the back? Number 2?
Ayling's got a
Ayling,
man
yeah.
bun.
Yeah, was it Ayling?
Ailing,
If it
Pascal
wasn't
Struijk,
him,
Stuart
Struijk.
Dallas.
And then there's the guy that got injured as well because Dallas. Anyway, there's quite a few. It is man bun FC for sure because normally there's like one per team at least, one per team, and they've got all of them for the rest of the people that haven't. And the other one as well I've got is So anyway, Alex, who would be your man of the match? Again, we don't normally do this, but there's for me, I've got 3 people. I've got KDH as my main one, Harvey Barnes and Schmeichel, and I genuinely can't choose out of the 3 because it's for me. That's the name of it. Tyler Roberts. He was the other one that's got a man bun. But anyway, yeah. KDH, Barnes, and Schmeichel would be the 3 that I've got, and it's really hard to choose out of the 3 of them.
So KDH played absolutely incredible today. Down the middle. Barnes got the game-winning goal, but honestly, I have to give it to Schmeichel. And the reason I'm giving it to Schmeichel is that he kept us in this match. Without Schmeichel, I definitely think that we would have lost this match. So many opportunities that Leeds could have capitalized. And, Schmeichel kind of just came out with one of his super Schmeichel saves and kept us in it. So, I feel like I've repeated this so much for like multiple different post matches throughout the last two years, at least, is, being like, man, without Schmeichel, we'd be in a completely different position because he's actually saved our bacon on numerous times. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Schmeichel.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Akash, what about you? Again, as the 3, but feel free to choose somebody else as well. But that's the 3 that I've got for nominations.
With the high octane intensity that Leeds was playing every time, 4 to 5 of their players were coming into our box, and it was making things really, I think, really scary for me to watch as a viewer. So I have to give it to Kasper Schmeichel as well because he just kept us in the game, and it's really unfair that whenever a goal scorer gets a game in a tight game like 1-0 or something, we always prefer the striker who got the goal. But in this case, I have to give it to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I see what you mean. A lot of people are saying the same thing as the comments. Super Casper Schmeichel, go for Casper Schmeichel, man of the match. I mean, yeah, and he's done phenomenally well. Alex, any thoughts before we finish as well? Because I think we've covered pretty much everything. But great result. We're going on to Rennes in the next round as well, which should be a really interesting game.
No, I think getting this win, I think, is so important, not just for the table, but for the mentality of the squad. So that's huge. I think, having 2 wins in a row and having 2 clean sheets, I think, is another thing to really go into this next match against Rennes. I think having that mentality and knowing that, okay, we've stringed a couple wins together, we've strung a couple of clean sheets together. This is some great form that we can use and we can utilize. So I think, it's positives, I don't want to look at the negatives because, we could easily pick stuff out, and I don't want to do that. And I think just moving forward into the next match, I think the key importance is just, if we can up the level of compete from today and just kind of fix all the little tiny issues that we definitely had that that were visible but are clearly fixable. I think that we can head into this next match, with the upper hand. But, hopefully, through training for the next couple matches, we can sort that out and be ready.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Akash, over to you as well. Any final thoughts before we finish? He's got his microphone muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, so the thing that becomes important now is man management because playing Rennes, then Arsenal, then again Rennes, I think one or the other should be prioritized. I know we're in 10th, we can go up to 8th, but Without Europe, it becomes very difficult for us, and success wouldn't be measured, whether it's 8th or 10th. So accordingly, I think next game we should give our 100%, and then we can take a breather in the Arsenal game because they are a stronger side this season again, and we can relax a bit, and then again go full fledged versus Reigns in the second leg.
Yeah, let's hope so. Again, if you enjoyed the live stream, thank you everybody for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. I'll try and do something for Ren, but my voice, as you can tell, was kind of on the way out. It still is. So that's the reason why there wasn't anything for the preview for this one. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe. Make sure to follow Alex and Akash over there. And we'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.